The Eastern Conference Finals, the Montreal Canadiens against the Carolina Hurricanes. Across North America, very few outside of Montreal are giving the Canadiens a chance in this series. To call the Hurricanes heavy favorites would be an understatement, but if there's anything we Habs fans have learned from watching this team all season long, it's to never count out the Montreal Canadiens. Jaden Struble draws into the lineup in place of Arbor Xhekaj, while rookie sensation Jakub Dobeš goes head-to-head with veteran goaltender Freddie Andersen for the Hurricanes. It was a quick start for the Canes, and it seemed any question of them being rusty was going to be put to bed early. Just 33 seconds in, the Canes force a turnover in the Canadiens' end. Aho and Svechnikov managed to work the puck out to the high slot to Seth Jarvis, who fired a wrist shot by Jakub Dobeš, stunning Canadiens fans everywhere and making all of us think, not again. Only 27 seconds after giving up the opening goal, Montreal responds. Suzuki and Slafkovsky dig a puck free down low. Slafkovsky sends a behind-the-back feed into the slot where Cole Caulfield is waiting all alone. He patiently waits for Andersen to commit before roofing one over the netminder, knotting this one up at one just a minute in. A picture-perfect response for the Canadiens, and as they've done so often this postseason, they immediately answer back after conceding a goal. Montreal just takes this one over from that point on. They press offensively, and just 3 minutes later, it's Philippe Danault getting sprung on a breakaway after a poor decision to double up on Alexandre Carrier by the Hurricanes. Danault pulls the puck back and fires a goal scorer's goal under the glove of Andersen into the net and giving the Canadiens a 2-1 lead, silencing the Carolina crowd. Craziness! Just like Game 5 in Buffalo, Montreal allows an early goal, then storms back. The majority of play still favors the Canadiens after the Danault goal, especially in terms of quality opportunities. The Canadiens' forecheck again causes problems in the Carolina Hurricanes zone. Caden Gooley teams up with Philippe Danault along the boards. Danault works the puck into space to Alexandre Texier, and it's another quick wrister from in close on Freddie Andersen that results in another goal for the Canadiens, giving them a 3-1 lead just over 8 minutes into the game. A marvelous response by the Montreal Canadiens, who have once again responded to adversity with an emphatic statement of their own. The Hurricanes get desperate and begin to push. Dobeš has to be sharp and make a few stops, but that offensive desperation leads to defensive breakdowns for the Carolina Hurricanes. Another ill-informed double team leads to Ivan Demidov being left unchecked. Newhook slides the puck through both Hurricanes defenders, sends Demidov in all alone on Freddie Andersen. Demidov fakes to the backhand, pulls it forehand, slides the puck around the outstretched pad of Andersen and in, a near clone of his regular season breakaway goal against the Hurricanes, giving the Canadiens a commanding 4-1 lead in the first period. What an unreal start for the Canadiens against a team that hadn't allowed more than 2 goals in a game so far in the playoffs. They put up 4 in the first 12 minutes. The remainder of the period sees the Canadiens still playing a very impressive style, but they're sitting back and allowing Carolina to throw themselves recklessly towards the Habs net, then pushing back on the counterattack. Carolina registered hardly anything of substance. Sure, they got shots on goal, but they were held to the exterior and they were unable to generate dangerous opportunities with any regularity. Montreal continued to be the team threatening to score more often than not, vastly outchancing the Hurricanes in terms of high-quality opportunities and odd man rushes. Despite an awful start and allowing a goal 30 seconds in, the Canadiens make it to the intermission up 4-1, having played an absolutely incredible period overall. Right away in the second period, Cole Caulfield rips one off of iron and out, just barely missing a chance to put the Canadiens up 5-1. The puck went right back up the ice the other way, where Robinson ripped one off the bar and in, cutting the Canadiens' lead to 2 goals. As is so often the case, a missed opportunity at one end leads to a goal at the other end. Really bad luck for the Canadiens, as basically everything lined up against them on this play, and what likely should have been a 5-1 lead instead sees the advantage narrowing as the Canes make it 4-2. Now, the narrative throughout the broadcast and from most of the post-game coverage was that Carolina dominated the second period, but I really didn't see it that way. Yes, they took a lot of shots. Yes, a fair amount of them ended up getting on net, and yes, Jakub Dobeš had to come up with the odd save here or there. But just look at the majority of these shots. Look at the distance that so many of them are coming from. Look how many sticks and bodies are getting in the way of the opportunities. And on the rare occasions where the Canadiens defense did break down, Jakub Dobeš did what he has done all postseason long. He came up with massive stops, slamming the door shut on guys like Seth Jarvis, and Carolina desperately tried throwing anything on net. It looked impressive because the shot total was climbing, but where was the danger here? Aside from one or two good chances, Carolina's offensive strategy seemed to just be throw the puck on net and hope you get lucky. On a few occasions, it did almost work, but against a goaltender as hot as Jakub Dobeš, it doesn't seem like the wisest strategy. Not like I'm complaining. It wasn't a perfect period by the Canadiens by any means, but it still wasn't nearly as lopsided as much of the coverage was making it seem, and the period winds down. The teams go into the intermission with the score still sitting at 4-2. Habs fans know the next goal is gonna be crucial. If the Hurricanes get it, we're all of a sudden thinking about the possibility of overtime. If the Canadiens get it, you have to think it breaks the Hurricanes' backs. Throughout the third period, Carolina couldn't get anything on net. They had puck possession, they put shots towards the net, but what wasn't blocked went wide or high. Passing plays seemed to come up short every time for the Hurricanes, as the Habs team defense was totally smothering. The reinforcements seemingly arrived just in time at every occasion for the Canadiens in the third period, and they kept a mind to push on the counterattack when they had the chances. They earned a power play opportunity that really didn't generate much of anything. So if you had maybe one complaint to levy about the Canadiens' performance in this one, it could be that they didn't look sharp with the man advantage. That didn't matter though, as Juraj Slafkovsky scored a highlight reel goal, pulling off a magnificent toe drag to walk around a defender, fooling Freddie Anderson blocker side, and restoring the Canadiens' 3-goal lead. That goal appeared to be the dagger in the hearts of the Carolina Hurricanes in this one. The Canes were allowed to possess the puck, but what did they do with it? They played around the perimeters of the Canadian zone, they routinely put shots high and wide, and even when they earned a late power play, they had a hell of a time even getting a shot. In fact, the Carolina Hurricanes mustered a grand total of, get this, 1 shot on goal through the entirety of the third period. And for a team whose entire identity is based around the idea that they are going to overwhelm you with chances, the Hurricanes looked like they had no answers for the Montreal Canadiens. Juraj Slafkovsky ended up potting an empty netter for the Canadiens, stretching their lead to 4 goals, and the two teams skated this one out. Montreal wins in convincing fashion by a final score of 6-2. The Habs scored more goals in this game than the Senators did in round 1 against the Hurricanes. They scored more goals than the Flyers did in all of round 2 against the Hurricanes. Total domination. You cannot help but be riding high after this one. For all of the glazing of the Hurricanes in the media prior to this series beginning, for all we had to hear about how the Hurricanes were some unstoppable force, what a way to put them in their place. The Canadiens now have an opportunity to stun the world again. They've put doubt into the minds of the Carolina Hurricanes, who are now 1-17 in their last 18 Eastern Conference Finals games over the last 8 seasons. The Canadiens look forward to Saturday night in Carolina for a chance to go up 2-0, headed back to the Bell Center, and put these Carolina Hurricanes into a state of panic. Anyway, you guys, that's gonna be it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and have a great night, guys.